Hoy en el ecosistema de emprendimiento del mundo, hablar de aceleración es común y cotidiano. Acelerar para escalar un modelo de negocio, acelerar para crecer y ganar participación en el mercado. Muchas veces funciona, pero en un porcentaje muy alto los emprendedores son sometidos a altos niveles de estrés y ocupación. Pensando en ello, se creó Decelera, el primer programa de desaceleración del mundo. Un proyecto realmente disruptivo, donde lo que importa es que los emprendedores y los participantes tomen conciencia, se conecten con la naturaleza, hagan un verdadero aporte a la sociedad y se desconecten del ritmo que no los deja pensar y concentrarse realmente en la estrategia de sus empresas. Soy Camilo Betancourt y los invito a que me acompañen en este capítulo a Menorca, en España. Un espacio mágico, un espacio diferente, de esos que realmente te permiten hacer un cambio de chip.
Decelera es la primera desaceleradora de startups del mundo, que es un modelo que encontramos en 2015 por el que queremos poner en el centro de la toma de decisión el equipo humano de una startup. Esto es una inmersión 24/7, ¿no? Es una inmersión completa durante 2 semanas, es menos tiempo pero mucho más concentrado, y con eso que rompemos el modo en el que se pone el cerebro cuando tiene que ir a la oficina o cuando tiene que ir al máster, ¿no?
So something that I really appreciate about Decelera and the whole concept of Decelera is this combination of innovation, startup culture, and also the connection to the nature. Because I do find that with technology we are getting increasingly disconnected from nature and actually from who we are as humans. And I think here we have a perfect combination of both.
Cuando conoces a alguien, existe una conexión real, pues esto me permitió montar una red de inversores en el proyecto. Son gente con muchísimo éxito profesional, que están en el mundo tecnológico y que están emocionados con esta nueva disrupción que planteamos al mundo, ¿no?
Decelera es una magnífica oportunidad no solo para conocer startups tecnológicas que tienen las mismas preocupaciones que tú y por tanto tenemos el mismo lenguaje, sino también para hacer relaciones comerciales entre ellos y poder también interactuar con expertos que ya han pasado por tus mismas experiencias o que ya han pasado por experiencias y que te pueden ayudar a enfocar mejor.
So taking a wider view, and the startups from 10 years ago were primarily driven by making things more efficient and by optimizing like Salesforce and those kind of things, right? And now we're thinking about changing things in a larger way. That's a completely different story.
Hemos trabajado muchísimo en localizar compañías por todo el mundo. Este año aplicaron 500 compañías de emprendedores en serie de base tecnológica de 77 países distintos de todos los continentes. Esto es llegar ahí ya es un trabajo importante. Y justo estas 2 semanas, que es como la entrada a la comunidad, ¿no? A la familia, lo que queremos es que las 20 compañías que seleccionamos de esas 500 las hagamos, le decimos un reboot, un reset, para que tengan un éxito y que se consoliden mucho más, que se hagan empresas más consistentes y tengan un ratio de éxito mayor, ¿no? Esto es una cosa que nos está ocurriendo ya en los años que lo llevamos haciendo, pues nos encantaría que las compañías de aquí fuesen más exitosas todavía, ¿no?
We attend a lot of events like this because it's a great way to see startups, and one of the things that you have to do is find the great teams that are building great companies, and they could well be at places like this.
Y habíamos encontrado que el ecosistema pues es un sistema, se había construido de forma muy capital-céntrica. Parece que el objetivo número 1 es levantar capital y sin embargo si ves al índice de fracasos de una compañía, un porcentaje altísimo es debido a cuestiones de equipo. Entonces, la parte de negocio la validamos como todo el mundo con nuestro libro y además ponemos mucho esfuerzo en entender qué tienen que hacer los equipos para tener mucho éxito profesional.
Pretty much every company becomes a commercial entity with very clearly and publicly stated goals of optimizing profit, and this pretty much what drives the share price. One of the arguments brought forward is to say, why don't we have a new form of stock exchange where companies are measured not just for the amount of profits they return, but also for the amount of good they do, or the less bad they do. how they treat people and the positive impact that they have on either the environment or the cultures or the countries that they enter. So have a multiple performance metrics, not just one that is sheer profit.
And what we always say when we're choosing is we say team, 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 market, traction, idea. And the reason we say team is so important is because the companies are so early that they're almost certain to change. And so the idea we put fairly low down. It's actually, can the team, when the changes occur in their business, can they deal with that?
So by putting people first, I believe that there are tools that can now be put forward to measure the happiness index like Bhutan, but also the performance index of people. We all know, the research has shown it, happy people stay longer, have much better stamina, don't get bored and churn, and therefore cost the company less to replace.
I'm an engineer by background, and engineers aren't necessarily the best people. So understanding how we can hire and how we can treat employees and how we can use strengths and weaknesses and accept them and still grow is very interesting food for thought.
Focus on people who are highly resilient, execute really well, work really hard, are willing to kind of run through walls to make stuff happen. If you find those sort of people and they're interested in a particular market, it's almost enough because they will make this stuff happen.
Nosotros cuando seleccionamos una compañía, la invitamos a formar parte de este movimiento y de esta revolución que queremos hacer, de esta familia que estamos construyendo. Además de tener una base tecnológica fuerte, además de ser un emprendedor en serie, es fundamental que respondan a una pregunta, y es: ¿te has cuestionado si tu servicio o producto hace un planeta mejor? ¿Ayuda a mejorar el planeta? Si la respuesta es sí, eres bienvenido, ¿no? Y rápidamente la siguiente pregunta, lo que le decimos es: ¿cuál de los 17 objetivos de desarrollo de Naciones Unidas, en cuál te estás identificando? Explícanos cómo ayudas allá.
A lot of times when we invent things, we're driven by this kind of idea of building something that works instantly, or like I say, building a better mousetrap, Like I've seen 100 companies that want to rebuild advertising, because advertising makes lots of money and it drives the digital economy, but I think the real game changers is how we think and what we do. Like if you look at Spotify, or it changes our behavior. So what we have today is we're moving to a world of experiences. So the more experiences you have, the more change you can experience, and the more transformative things are, and that's what we have to look for.
Entonces estamos acuñando un término que nos gusta y que cada vez está resonando más, que son las Tech Sustainable Startups, ¿no? Porque entendemos que hoy en día una compañía, da igual el tamaño que sea, si no tiene incorporado en su cuenta de resultados la influencia que tiene con el medio ambiente y con el planeta, desde todos los aspectos de sostenibilidad, esa compañía no tiene futuro. Es una compañía que tiene poco recorrido, porque estamos en una situación en la que ya tenemos que contar bien el agua que consumimos, ya tenemos que ser eficientes con la energía, ya tenemos que gestionar bien a los equipos humanos, etc.
One of the challenges as a co-founder is finding time to do anything. And it's been enough of a challenge actually to find the time to come and spend some time here.
Si se analizan las 20 compañías que están hoy aquí, pues ves compañías que están trabajando en realidad aumentada en proyectos de ingeniería, o compañías que tienen un programa, una plataforma súper escalable de enseñar, de convertir en inventores a los niños, ¿no? Pero en el fondo, aquí el denominador común es, más o menos todos están en el mismo tamaño de métricas, de facturación, de tipo de ronda, y lo más importante, todos son unas personas humanas que están alineadas con nuestros valores y que se puede trabajar con ellos.
My name is Aravind. I'm natively from Sri Lanka but based in Berlin. What I do is I do hands-on engineering one side and I do community building on the other side. So in the engineering side, I have built many hardware startups. In the last 8 years, I have built 5 hardware startups in Berlin, and then I have supported many other hardware startups. In community side, as I have told, I built 4 big communities where I interact and run, curate, manage them.
And of course, first you wonder, what is it like? Is it the wrong people? Is it the wrong structure? But if you really think deeply about it, I think there is something more fundamentally flawed about the incentives of a bank as we know it today. and the incentives of a customer, because banks make money when customers borrow. So what Dozens did was combine the whole journey from current account to budgeting to saving and then eventually investing into one single app. And that has two benefits. So one, for the consumer, most people don't like talking about money or engaging with money, so they will download maybe one app, two apps, but actually you need 5 or 7 different apps in order to go from your current account all the way to your pensions. So by putting it in one place, we make it really easier for people to sort of maybe take the next step. Maybe they will invest a little bit and see what happens, but because they can see all the money in one place, they don't feel frightened. And also it happens to help the business model, because we make commercial money from each of those different steps. Whether you spend with us or you save with us or you invest with us, we kind of make an equal amount of margin from it. So it helps us never get reliant on overdrafts and loans, which is lending back to you in order to stay commercially viable.
Water is a major issue globally for many customers, especially in high technology manufacturing. And it's used and wasted continuously in these factories globally. We at Exergy have developed a product technology that allows customers to purify and recycle water for reuse. This is specifically for high purity water. We allow them to recycle 90% of this water back at 70% cost savings.
My company is Sensei, and the product that we develop is called Sensei as well. And it is a software product purely to understand and automate the understanding of machine health. So we work with large industrial companies and manufacturers at a scale of thousands of machines to help them to understand which machines are likely to fail, when and how, so that they can maintain them before that happens.
In 2020, half of the people will suffer from water stress. In 30 years from now, it will be 3/4 of the people. So our startup is providing a first product that is a smart shower. With this shower, we can save water, and water is really something on the planet. It's the first resource. Without water, there is no life. I realized that I would like really to do something else, helping people, saving the planet. That's the reason why I started Hydro, where we are providing smart solutions to preserve the planet, to preserve the water.
Mi nombre es Carlos Marquerie y soy cofundador de Moonshot Innovation. Moonshot es una startup que crea ecosistemas de innovación. Arrancamos analizando por qué Israel crecía tan fuerte y creamos una red neuronal basada en inteligencia artificial para poder trabajar en el mundo de las empresas y en el mundo de los gobiernos. Nosotros tenemos un enfoque muy científico al hacer todo esto. Es una pregunta que me sorprendió mucho, es por qué no habíamos tenido en cuenta el toque humano en nuestra concepción de las cosas, ¿no? Nosotros, Moonshot es una plataforma que conecta negocios en el mundo de la innovación, conecta tecnologías disruptivas, y es cierto, tenía razón, debemos introducir un toque humano en esas relaciones para permitir que la gente haga negocios y haga transacciones. Y esto me sorprendió porque, aunque ya lo sabíamos, me gustó mucho escucharlo de ellos. Insisto que te digan, oye, qué gran cosa habéis hecho, no sirve para nada, pero que te digan, oye, el toque humano no lo veo. Ahí sí, ahí tenemos que trabajar mucho en ello.
I think that the mindset and all the mindset we have to go is to test your value your unique value proposal really quickly to the market. Don't spend too much time, too much money to create your product, to fine tune your product. Go to a simple product, what we call a MVP, minimum viable product, and go quickly to the market, quickly to your customer, and meet a lot of customer before to invest or to use your money for development.
So how can Decelera help startups to grow? Startups here really get equipped with knowledge and training about what it's like to be raising funds, how they want to be, how they want to shape their product. I think what I have also seen that there are lots of people who come in here to build the connections. They might even not need the investment. They're very actually senior people with great international experience. So I think it's really beneficial to have the exposure to people who are in the same cohort, because a startup journey is a very lonely journey, right? You're always competing against everyone else. And I think just being part of the family, experiencing things together, actually recharges you. So it's not just about the business knowledge, it's also about who you're coming out of this whole program as a person.
Esta es la quinta versión del programa. Su éxito en Europa ha llevado a los organizadores a replicar el proyecto en América. Por eso Mayacoba, en la Riviera Maya de México, será la sede del 18 al 28 de octubre de Decelera. Un espacio para que los emprendedores de alto impacto de América Latina hagan una verdadera disrupción en sus empresas y modelos de negocio. Además, verdaderas conexiones con inversionistas y empresarios. Los invito a continuar viendo lo que fue la experiencia en España y a que te inscribas en la versión de octubre en México. Si eres emprendedor, es uno de esos eventos que no puedes dejar pasar.
With those ingredients, you have to start cooking the paella.
Well, I think a lot of startups do have the motivation of fixing things or getting excited about the future. It's not just driven by money, it's driven mostly by excitement. You know, money sometimes is a part of that, but in many ways, of course, startups reflect the reality of our system, which it's about profit and growth and advancement. And when the system changes, and I think it's changing right now, to where we have to think about doing something that's good for humans, not just good for the stock market, then I think the startups will change with it.
Hay un paradigma ahora mismo, el capitalismo y el crecimiento indefinido parece que es una cosa que se está cuestionando y viene algo nuevo, no sabemos muy bien lo que es. Lo que sí sabemos es que en las empresas del futuro la gente, el people, es lo primero, ¿no? O sea, es people first, es una cosa que cada vez estamos viendo en más empresas de éxito y es justo lo que queremos hacer nosotros.
Yeah, I think we're in a big paradigm change to where it's no longer so important that you can disrupt the business or do something entirely new, but that you have a more interesting story, a larger story, more holistic story that fits society, not just the stock market, that looks a little bit beyond just profit and growth, but also purpose and people and planet, as I call it. I think it's very important to look further now than to just invent new tech.
Las startups, tras el paso del programa, han conseguido tres cosas fundamentalmente, pero a mí me gusta siempre destacar dos. Una, han hecho un repaso de A a B de la compañía y han sido capaces de identificar su gran reto como compañía, que es muy difícil. Siempre que preguntamos esto, la primera respuesta es equivocada y les invitamos a que profundicen más porque los americanos dicen, no, what is the rock that you have to break into pieces? Esta roca que tienen allí, identificarla, encontrar una solución, validarla con expertos, iterar sobre ella, hace que una compañía viene a este nivel y sale a este nivel, ¿no? Es mucho más resistente, mucho más sólida.
This is a mirage, but it's so difficult to get out of it.
Decelera es enriquecedor en la relación con las demás startups porque alimentan tu visión. Específicamente te dan su opinión de cómo lo están haciendo y en muchas ocasiones encuentras muchos paralelismos en donde puedes aprender de ellos. Yo creo que es muy importante saber que para triunfar en este mundo tan complicado hay que ser tremendamente generoso y humilde. Generoso para dar las opiniones, humilde para poderlas escuchar, entenderlas y explicarlas.
I have worked with many companies and helped many companies, but the most rewarding thing is to enable people with great ideas. And I see myself just like inspiring, like giving a little bit of advice for the good things that can happen. And I have this vision that those who have some competency give that to companies who have a good purpose. So in a way, even if you're involved in something else, you can always help somehow, make the good things happen.
Well, basically we have bought into this idea that we always need to be productive. We need to be always on. And if we're running a company, then we should be 24/7 working, controlling, checking, answering to customers and so on and so forth. However, what scientists say that creativity comes from the state of our mind when we're decelerated in a way. Maybe we're a little bit bored, maybe we're just allow our minds wandering around. For example, people who spend lots of time in the nature are considered to be more creative. because they allow their executive attention to rest a little bit. So I think what it's really needed today for entrepreneurs in such highly pressurized environment as technology entrepreneurship is to create some routines that actually allow their brains to go back into this childish mode, to play, not to be serious, to do things that are not logical, to actually allow yourself some time to meditate, be in the nature, connect with others, just because, not with any specific purpose, not with the idea that, oh, I'm gonna raise investment thanks to this.
I think the deceleration methodology is super interesting. It's quite new and I love it because it's contrarian. You know, everybody's going for bigger, faster, more, quicker. And then most of them end up not making it to the finish line. What they end up doing is burning quicker, hiring more, and having to do 3, 4, 5 executive teams at a great cost to the company, not just cash, before they actually make it. I think the deceleration methodology allows for smaller companies that don't have to aim to be a billion-dollar company or more, and instead build a sustainable business, which has many benefits. Most of them is, great financial returns mixed with a normal family-like business style, which means, you have opportunities to build a single team that will take it all the way, to have a management team that doesn't have to be changed every 6 months or 8 months because of crazy, super aggressive revenue and other targets. And number 3, a company that is sustainable. So people stay, people love it, and business stays with people. Everybody buys from people, nobody buys from a company.
Technology and humanity are at some very interesting crossroads right now. There's a lot of worry about, will technology replace humans? And where do we fit in that? I'm not too worried about that. Technology is about assisting humans to be better at what they are good at. We are very good at generalization. Technology is very good at specifics.
Yeah, I often say that the future is better than we think. Because we can use technology for so many good things. However, technology can also be used for bad things, and that includes, the telephone and the TV and the internet, of course. But now we have unlimited potential of technology. So as a startup, I have to think about the ecosystem I'm building, and whether that's a good thing altogether or whether it's just partially good. And I have to also think about, being socially responsible and looking at the consequences. So as a startup, it's basically looking like this now, no longer just like this.
Why today is the best time to be alive, ever. Why it doesn't necessarily feel like it. And the fact that there's only a handful of grand challenges, 7 in fact, that we need to address as humanity. And then a framework by which I believe that we can go about addressing that in a collaborative and open fashion in order to get to solutions much more swiftly than we're currently doing.
But only 9% is recycled.
So building sustainability is obviously a big topic. It addresses or is required and now compulsory in some industries, but it's really addressing the entire range of startups all the way to large companies and public companies. Sustainability in my world means that you need to design a company from the ground up, and from the ground up have to answer very difficult questions such as, do you favor revenue growth before anything else, which will drive a set of very well-known metrics? Or do you favor sustainability, a company that will stay there, possibly never sell, never IPO, never sell to anybody, but provide for an amazing lifestyle for the right founders to build a family of executives and colleagues who they will want to stay a lifetime with?
So I believe it makes sense that the best people work for this type of companies. And that's why I like that Decelera really takes the time to bring the people here, understand their true motivation, and see if they really can make a difference.
So now basically we have to think of a larger story, and that includes how good is it for people, is there environmental consequences, like is it sustainable, does it have a story, a purpose, and does it make money? That's just one of the points.
I started a long time ago to work for chemical companies and see how they can increase their revenue by being more responsible. And now I think that's one good thing about the internet, that the consumers know the truth. So you can't hide what you're doing. And once they understand, they ask for better products. So it's really us as consumers who drive the change.
to build sustainable business, we have to keep in mind that the sustainability of our business is based on the sustainability or the way we work.